My name is Jennifer Sprowl, and I am the artistic director of Duncan Dance Chicago.
Is having a show at the Fieldhouse in October, and this is an excerpt
Well,
of that
I was actually living in New York before I moved to Chicago, and I danced in New York for about 17 and a half years. I come from a ballet background, I did other modern dance, and then when my friend took me to my first Duncan class, I had actually stopped dancing for a year, and I thought that was the end of my dance career. And then she took me to this class because she said, you have to experience this, and that just changed my world. And so I started studying Duncan dance in New York, and I learned so much about Isadora that I would say I didn't know in the past with all my dance training. And I think this is something that a lot of people don't know about, how much Isadora Duncan is involved in dance history. And this is why okay, so now I'm gonna switch. So then, what brought me here? Well, things changed in my life. I was living in New York during 9/11, and we all know how that was. Okay, and so not only did that happen, but the economy shifted, and I just felt I needed to go somewhere else. I actually, since being from the Midwest, didn't think I'd come back to the Midwest, but I met the man that I married who was from Chicago. So we were long distance dating for a couple months, and then I decided I'm gonna move. And so this January will be my 15th year here. So yes, I moved to Chicago in January. People were like, what, are you crazy? Why not? You know, so hence I'm here now.
So what was it about Isadora or her technique that spoke to you?
Wow, that's a beautiful question. Well, class is so unique and so encompassing emotion, nature. Yes, there's the freedom of movement. However, there is a technique, there is a structure, but there's a lot of spontaneity and a lot of improv. And these are all things that I had in my other dance training. But the way a Duncan class is designed spoke to me in a way, again, that I had never had. For example, she's known for having drawn the curtains over the mirrors. In my first Duncan class, we didn't have the mirrors, they were covered. And that was kind of revolutionary. You know, you're not looking at yourself, you're not looking at other people, but that's so far away from what Duncan dance is anyway. And my teacher faced me to teach and danced with me during class. It was very welcoming, very safe, and that's how I also try to present when I teach. And the use of music. So in class, because that class we didn't have a pianist, she was using, I don't even know if CDs or tapes or something, but classical music. And the movement was crafted by the music that was being played. So if the music was slowed down, rubato, you would honor the music. Duncan dance never goes against the music, it's very musical. And I hadn't really danced to a full orchestra in dance class. It was usually the piano, which is great, having a pianist, especially if you have a pianist who understands musicality. And then learning all the rich history of Isadora, because she was born 141 years ago. I know. And you have to go back in time and consider what was dance. There was no art form. It was vaudeville and it was entertainment, which is fine, but there was no art form. So, you know, everyone knows the story. She rebelled against ballet. However, she took some ballet, she understood it, in her own way, but the structure of it, the rigidity of it, the held placement, obviously that did not feel right for her. In studying nature and looking at art, all the curvilinear, the contrapposto, and she studied all of these things. She was in museums with her family for much of her life, and responding to that in her more of a natural way of moving and keeping the curves and going off center and not being so vertical. And of course, taking off her shoes and exposing her arms and legs. You just didn't do things like that in her day, and taking her corset off. And dancing to classical music. She's the first. You went to the theater to listen to it, but you didn't dare dance to the masters. So, and she danced as a soloist with a full orchestra. Again, revolutionary. So, she was a woman way ahead of her time. And the other beautiful thing that I really resonate with is Isadora was about having dance for everybody for their whole life, as opposed to training stage dancers. That was not her vision. That was not her thought. And in practicing this art form for 25 years now, and having other teachers and having other colleagues and going to immerse myself deeper, not just in the dance, but in the art form, in the music, and connecting with people, I think it's really important to carry this forward for everybody to dance. So in class, because my class is a drop-in, I do get the gamut from 13, 15, all the way up into 7-year-olds. And the technique works for everybody.
We're going to take
and you can modify it. But there's also the spirituality aspect of it. We move from the solar plexus, which is the heart center. She called this the solar plexus. Of course, it's a little lower in the chakras, but the point being it's around your heart. And then it radiates out through your limb. The movement radiates out through the limbs. And there's connection with people. It's a way of being more with humanity and also community. And so I think that it's a beautiful way to go into a studio and yet not be siloed or competing or trying to get some aesthetic, because that's not the way class is presented. And like an event like today where we're outside, we can dance outside and it works.